Hi, my name is Olivia Konechny, and I will be doing my creative project over feminist philosophy. To be more specific, I will be talking about what is feminist philosophy, the major viewpoints of it, the history, where it came from, and important women involved in the feminist philosophy movement and just studies in general. So, first, I will be talking about what is feminism. Many people know what it is. In modern day, many people follow it, but the definition is a political ideology and is the broad beliefs and ideas that belong to the broad social and political movement to achieve greater equality for women. Feminism had its first big movement in the late 19th and early 20th century. The goal for feminism has always been to give more opportunities and empower women and give them their full rights. Women have been defined to stay at home, cook, clean, care for their husband and children. But even since the 1700s, women and many other people have known that this is not the case. We should be able to go out, live our lives just as men do, get a job, get equal pay, be able to vote, be able to control our bodies. Like, women just want that equal power that men have. Feminism was very popular in North America and Europe for a very long time. Many people believe that women need liberation from a man-controlled society and not treated the same necessarily, because obviously emotions, mindsets are all different between men and women, but just have the same respect that you would for a man as you would a woman. So that's what feminism is. Next, I will be talking about what is feminist philosophy. So, feminist philosophy is defined as the aim at understanding and challenging the oppression of women. Many people involved in feminist philosophy interrogate people, places, and businesses that control our lives. So, this is very broad, but interrogate businesses, like a big one is the government. Since in the 1900s, like, women weren't able to vote until a certain period of time, which when they were, it changed a whole thing. Like, women felt like they were getting rights. Women weren't able to have jobs at one point. They had to stay home. And at that point, women didn't want to stay home. Some women want to work hard and work for their life to provide for themselves. So that's what it means by interrogate people, places, and businesses. They just want to be able to have that choice to be able to do what they want. And then important women involved in the feminist philosophy are Mary Wollstonecraft, Simone de Beauvoir, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Carol Gilligan. The feminist movement actually came 10 years, the feminist philosophy movement came 10 years after the feminism movement. And some people have different viewpoints on it. Some people don't believe that feminism should even be a thing. Like, it should be like how it was way, way back in the day, like women have no choice. And then others just believe it's not a philosophy that we should necessarily be focusing on, or that it doesn't exist. So next, I will be talking about the history of feminist philosophy. It has been around for centuries, but it became really relevant in the 1970s during the women's movements that became popular in the 60s and 70s. And women started to wonder why there weren't many jobs or opportunities for them, or even women changing the world. If you look back at it in the 18 and 1900s, like, you see all these men changing the world and like creating different scientific methods, becoming professors at colleges, but you didn't see many women. And I think the goal of the feminist philosophy is to think that women can change the world too, and to challenge that stereotype that women don't have to stay and listen to what men have to say. So some viewpoints for feminist philosophy is to think about why we're not treated the same. Women need to get away from manly society. Today, there are so many women doing incredible things, creating their own businesses towards a woman's point of view in society. So that's been a big takeaway from it. And then we're working towards equality, not superiority. We don't want to have the power that men have had. We just want to be treated equally and respected the same that men have been. And then also the last thing for feminist philosophy is to challenge the system. This generation and all the other generations before us want to change the way that women are seen and heard in this world. So the first woman we will be talking about is Mary Wollstonecraft. She was a British philosopher, writer, and a famous advocate for women's rights. She was born in 1759 in London and died in 1797, and lived a very unorthodox lifestyle for women at the time. She liked to travel and write books and hold things for women. One of her famous notable books was A Vindication of the Rights of Women, which was about her arguing that women are not naturally inferior to men. She says women and men should be treated equally as beings. So even in the 1700s, Mary Wollstonecraft knew that women should be treated the same as men, and probably many other people, but she had the courage to speak out and try and do something about it. With this, she also had an impact on the Romantic movement, which was art, literacy, music, and an intellectual era in the 1700s. Next is Simone de Beauvoir. She was a French philosopher and popular feminist activist. She was born in 1908 in France and died in 1986. Her big feminist theory was women are as capable of choice as men, thus can choose to elevate themselves. This meaning, like, we are capable of knowing what we can do and jobs we can pursue and hobbies we can take on just as easy as men are. And just like all other female activists, she believed women can do anything men can. She wrote many books in her lifetime, and many people have said that she laid the foundation of the modern feminist movement. Her popular book was called The Second Sex, and that's where people said she laid the foundation for modern feminism. Next is Elizabeth Cady Stanton. She was an American writer, born in 1815, died in 1902 in New York. She also wrote many books and also planned a women's rights convention at Seneca Falls in New York. I'm sure people have heard about that. And this convention helped to author the Declaration of Sentiments, which was added to the Declaration of Independence. A very interesting fact about Elizabeth Cady Stanton is that she actually collaborated with Susan B. Anthony in speeches, protests, conventions, and Susan B. Anthony actually helped her plan the convention in Seneca Falls after they met at another convention in Europe, I believe. And it was 8 years later they had this women's rights convention. And Elizabeth Cady Stanton dominated the women's movement for half a century and was able to challenge all of the things that for years and decades other women have been challenging. And the last woman we will be talking about is Carol Gilligan. She is an American psychologist and feminist and was born in 1936 in New York. She is still alive today. She is best known for her research into the moral development of girls and women. She started this because the other psychologist she was working with on a study was only testing boys and men. Now, as we know, women have a different mindset and mental state than men. And obviously, all humans' brains work differently. And when you release a psychology study with half the world being men and half the world being women, women won't know how to look at it because it's tested on boys and men. So she wanted to challenge that women need to be involved in world and science studies. Her work helped to inform a feminism movement and philosophical ethics. And then the last thing I will be talking about is future of feminist philosophy. Women will always have a challenge in this world because ever since the world was created, men have been superior to women. And everyone will have their own opinion about whether women should be as equal as men, but in present day, it's becoming more aware that women really want just the respect and be able to make their own choices and not have men take over their lives. Um, these movements, conventions, rallies, and studies that all these women hold, like Carol Gilligan, Mary, and Simone, and Elizabeth, they've made a big impact in feminism and feminism philosophy, and we're still moving forward today. So they've laid great groundwork. But that is all I will be talking about today. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you for listening.